guys, I'm Danny Johnson, CEO at TPP, The Positive Porpoise.
I'm Jason Miller from Fins Up SoCal Fan Club.
I'm Scott Howell from Atlanta Dolphin Club.
Mark Angelo, NorCal Dolphin Club.
And you're listening to Clock Blockers, Miami fans' #1 morning show.
Run it, 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 run it.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Stephen D, and we are live on this beautiful Throwback Thursday or St. Patrick's Day, whatever you want to call it. I am wearing my green today. I got my minor league baseball cap on of a Greenville Drive. I got my DWA shirt on. I was making sure y'all weren't going to pinch me today. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Want to say a big shout out to the #1 Miami Fan Morning Show listeners. What is going on, everybody? Super excited to be hanging out with you all this morning. Want to say good morning to my Finlaws and my family out there. Got a laundry list of things to do this morning, so let me go through them first so that way we can get right into the show. First things first. Want to remind y'all, follow me at Stephen D SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you want to call it. Just make sure you guys go ahead and do that, okay? Also, want to remind you guys to follow Miami Sports Music on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Miami Sports Music. Or you can follow them also on Twitter at MIA Sports Music. Make sure you guys do that today. Also, want to remind you guys to hit that like button on your way in. Don't forget to hit it. Tap it, slap it, whatever you want to do to it. Just make sure you do it and you do it well. Okay? I want to remind you guys to go ahead and subscribe to the channel too. There are plenty of seats waiting at the table for you. Yesterday, we had a brand new person join the channel. Can we get another one? Can we get another one today? In the chat, I'm putting the link up for you to sign up, become a member today. Would love for you to join the channel. Okay? Sign up today. Also, I want to remind you guys, too, if you guys want to go ahead and donate to the channel and help the channel grow, there's a few different ways you guys can go about doing that, okay? First way is the $ down at the bottom right, little button below the chat. You guys can click that. It's called a super chat, and you guys can donate that way. That's the easiest way. Now, the preferred way is through Cash App, which is $MSM Podcast Network, and also PayPal, which is MSM Podcast Network. Why do we say this is the preferred way? Because PayPal and Cash App takes out less fees, where, YouTube takes out like 50%. But if you guys want to donate, I don't care if it's $1. It goes to helping the channel grow, and you guys can either use Cash App or PayPal. They both help. They both help the channel grow. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor of the show, Tail Greeter, TAILGREETER. Make sure you download the app on your current Apple or Crapple or Android device today. Make sure you do that. They have a great app. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Download the app. Also, I know football season's over, but baseball season's right around the corner, and NASCAR's in full swing, and there's a million other things that are in full swing. March Madness. Tail Greeter has so many events. Make sure you go and look at what they got, okay? So, make sure you guys go ahead and do that today. Okay? All right, awesome. All right. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing this morning? Let me go into the chat and see who's here this morning. Let me see. Alexander, you signed up to become a member. Welcome to the family. You were already part of the family. I guess you're YouTube guys. If you have been part of the family in the past, sometimes YouTube messes up their thing. So, like, Alexander's been part of the family. Welcome to the family. But YouTube sometimes messes. Every month when they go to renew, sometimes it doesn't always renew. So, check it out. Make sure you guys go do that. Okay. All right. Let me see who's in the comments this morning. Who is here this morning? I got the new man, the Rasta. What's up, buddy? How are you, man? Welcome to the family. You signed up yesterday. I'm glad you're part of the family and the channel. Sean, what's going on? Ryan AP. We're going to get to this in a minute, big guy. Triple S Podcast. What's going on, Triple S Podcast? Miss Fins is in the building. What's up, Miss Fins? How are you this morning? Level 2 noob. What's going on, Level 2 noob? How are you? How are you, Level 2 noob? Level 2 noob, have you ever been Level 1 noob? Or Level 5 noob? I'm just playing. I'm just messing with you. Big shout out to Alexander again this morning, signing up, rejoining. Hit that like button. Got the 4-leaf clover in there. Guys, if you're not wearing green, I'm just saying. Paul, what's up? Oh, Raw. I'm about to say Paul. Raul. Is it Raul? I think I said it right. Raul. What's going on? 1, 2, 3, 4 F's is in the building. Jose Valdez. Hey, buddy. What's going on? I got Anthony Mazzano. Tyler's is in the building. Cap for Life is in the building. Good morning to everybody. I like to say good morning. You guys took the time to get into the chat. I want to take the time to say good morning to y'all because that's what I love about you guys. That's the best part about the show is you. Let's see here. Level 2 noob says, I made it up to level 4, then someone demotes me for something dumb. I love it, man. Green Rat 100. What's up, Green Rat, baby? And then Top Floor says, what's up, Steven? How are you, man? Anthony says, Steven, you're making a mistake. I know my name sounds Italian, but it's from Spain. Mazzano. Okay. First, it took YouTube 30% last month, 40% for this, and 50% by September. It was me 90%. Shake money, bro. YouTube took everything, bro. They take it all. They do take a lot. Benton, good morning, Benton. How are you? Alexander's Rocky still sucked, but Bryant just wanted the money. Yes, he did. He got it there. John Ruiz, good morning, Steven. All right. Look, a lot of stuff went down in the world of NFL and sports yesterday, and we're going to get right into that. I don't have a big show lined up for you this morning. Today's show is going to be about y'all. We're just going to chill. Yesterday's show, a lot of stuff went down, and today we're just going to talk about, some of the signings that has happened and gone down. I am locked up on Twitter. Let me tell you, and I mean that in a good way. What I'm saying is I got the Twitter set. It's refreshing every few minutes. If anything goes down, I am here. I am definitely here, and I am doing it. We had a signing this morning for those of you who did not know. The Miami Dolphins signed wide receiver from the San Francisco 49ers, Trent Sherfield. He's the third 49er with ties to McDaniel coming over to Miami, joining Raheem Mostert, who signed yesterday evening, and River Craft. So, and I'm not too sure about him either. But what I will say is the Raheem Mostert signing we'll get into tenfold here in a little bit. But I will say the Trent Sherfield signing sounds to me that it's a response into Mac Hollins not signing here. So let's get into that. Yesterday evening, I'm on my Twitter. I'm getting ready to go to bed. Actually, I'm not getting ready to go to bed. I'm getting ready to leave. I'm getting ready to leave to go to a church meeting. And I get the news, hey, Mac Hollins is signing with the Vegas Raiders. So upset about it. Let me tell you, the one thing I wanted from this front office was, hey, don't let guys walk who are a big part of the locker room and who are a big part of this team. Mac Hollins is a player that checks all the boxes. He can catch. He's a good wide receiver. He's a good playmaker. He's young. He's getting better, right? So there's he's on the trajectory of upwards. The other thing that I find interesting too, shout out to the Triple S podcast with the $2.79. That's weird. I've never seen the $2.79 CA Triple S, where are you from? Because that might be a totally different thing. Gonna be awesome to have Mozart for 3 games. Never seen a $2.79 one. Who is Matt Collins? Look, that was the other thing, right? So the trajectory of him was up. And he was such a personality. The man would show up on game day in boxing suits, and he had the afro, and he was just eccentric. And he was somebody who I wanted the Dolphins to resign for many reasons. Players in the locker room love him, and it didn't happen. And what bothered me even more is that he goes on Instagram and Twitter and social media and says, I'm betting on myself. So I had to, look, I do a show every day. I'm like, well, let me read into that a little bit more. What does that mean that you're betting on yourself? Because that tells me a little bit that the Dolphins did something to disrespect him, in my opinion. I could be totally off. I might be wrong. And it might be a little thing. It might be, hey, guys, Mac, this is what we are offering you. Here it is. And he just didn't like that. It was very, very interesting what happened. And I'm not quite sure exactly. I can tell you. Let's see. The numbers on Mac of what he got there. I'm looking right now to see 1-year deal. He got a 1-year deal. So I have to believe in my heart of hearts that the Dolphins offered him a 2 or 3 year deal, but at league minimum, close to it. And he said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a 1-year deal. I'm going to take a deal with a team who has a quarterback like Derek Carr, who's the man's going to throw 50, 60 times a game. It's going to give me an opportunity to catch. And so that's what I think. It also tells me that the Dolphins are going to rely a lot on the running game this year. And we'll get into that. You sign 2 fullbacks. You bring in Raheem Mozart. You bring in Chase Edmonds. I'm just saying. I'm not quite sure. I can't see the numbers for Matt Collins' contract. If y'all know what that is, I'd be interested. If somebody wants to look that up and tell me what the numbers were for Matt Collins. But I know it wasn't much. It was a 1-year deal, $2 million, something like that. But whatever the numbers were, I knew it was Miami easily could have matched it. They decided not to. For whatever the reason. And then I see the signing this morning of, the guy from Miami, from San Francisco, Trent Sherfield. And that tells me, hey, look, this guy is, why are we acting like Matt Collins was Jerry Rice was good? I'm not saying he was Jerry Rice. I'm just saying Miami has a history of letting guys who have an upward trajectory and are good locker room guys. And Jose, you bring up a good point. Maybe Hollins wanted $10 million a year and the Dolphins just said, bye-bye, Felicia. I mean, that's possible too. That is entirely plausible too. But I do know that that's big, Miss Fins. Field Yates, Saints have restructured the contracts of Taysom Hill, Bradley Roby, Demario Davis, and Malcolm Jeeson to clear cap space. Per source, the Saints now officially have $29.9 million. Interesting. Very interesting. If you had asked me last night who I thought Deshaun Watson was going to, I would have said Atlanta or Cleveland. And I was leaning less towards Cleveland because all the news out of Cleveland I heard is, look, Baker Mayfield and Cleveland, that relationship is no longer. I think he's going to be an Indianapolis Colt, by the way. And the other thing is, Atlanta clearing up a lot of cap room. And just remember, if he goes to the Saints, that has a ripple effect. That has a ripple effect if Deshaun Watson goes to the Saints, because it means that we are not getting Teron Armstead. And we have to go after La'el Collins, which for the life of me, I do not understand why he has not been traded for, released by the Cowboys, traded, whatever the case is. And the only reason and the only thing I know about that is the only conclusion I can come to is they are waiting for the ripple effect of Deshaun, and they're waiting for the ripple effect of what or La'el Collins at Dallas. If you're asking me, Steven, who would you rather have as offensive tackle? La'el Collins all day long. And let me tell you, I pray that we can get him off of a release rather than having to give something up to Dallas for him, which won't be much. There is still no Matt Ryan contract restructure nor any agreement on run. The Saints can almost already afford Deshaun Watson if the quarterback wanted to go to New Orleans, Adam Schefter said. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It definitely has something to be said of that there. People are sending me stuff all over. Yeah, look, there's a lot of different things that the Dolphins can do. But I think the ripple effect of what the NFL is going to do, or other players in the NFL, will be big. Jonathan Dill says, Teron Armstead is good, but injury prone and hasn't played a full season in 3 years. 100%. Which is why I'd rather have La'el Collins. Jolie, not everything is breaking news. I feel like I'm watching CNN over here. You're right. I love it. I have a whole... My phone is blowing up this morning. I'm not sure why. I think, look, here's the other thing, too. Something big's going to go down in the NFL today. That I'm almost sure of. Whether it's the Deshaun Watson news, whether it's... look, I'll say it, like La'el Collins, that domino is going to send a ripple effect to the rest of the league with the rest of the offensive linemen that are available. And there's still probabilities and possibilities that other trades occur within the NFL. And we still haven't cut anybody. And I want to say, so some people were reaching out to me yesterday, why haven't the Dolphins cut anybody? The Dolphins are still under the cap. They currently don't have to cut anybody. And my thought to it is they're only going to cut somebody if they need to clear that cap room for somebody, whoever that may be. But I'll tell you this, if Deshaun Watson goes to Atlanta, Armstead is coming to Miami. If Deshaun Watson goes to the Saints, the Dolphins are going to do everything they can to get La'el Collins. And a dream scenario is J.C. Trotter is still out there after getting released, one of the best centers in football. Why, for the life of me, the Dolphins haven't gone to him and said, hey, my guy, I don't know what you're doing, but we got a place for you here on South Beach. Come on, let's go. We'd love you over here. If they were to bring in, let's say, La'el and JC, or Teron and JC, we automatically, in my opinion, win the offseason moves. Even with not bringing a guy like Matt Collins back, who, by the way, I want to say I'm going to miss Matt Collins. I'm going to miss him. I love the guy. I loved him. But we have to understand right now, people are at a wait and see with some of the players that are still out there on the board. And some of these contracts that have been negotiated have been for ridiculous amounts. Ridiculous. Von Miller, who's age 32. 32. $120 million for 6 years with Buffalo. Let me say that again. $120 million with the Buffalo Bills for 6 years. I really hope that comes back to bite them, because I don't think it's a good contract. I think Von's great, but that's a big contract for a guy who's already got a couple of Super Bowl rings. And I'm telling you, a move like that is all the more reason the Miami Dolphins need to shore up their offensive line. If they don't make that offense, like here's, you have to understand where we're at. Matt Collins, we let him walk, right? And I say that purely from the standpoint of he knows what type of offense we're going to run here. And we can see that based on the signings over the last 48 hours. Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, a couple of fullbacks. Come on. We're putting a lot of effort into that. We're putting a lot of emphasis on the run game. Who, by the way, Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, and Myles Gaskins all had 140 carries last year each. I read that on Twitter. Don't quote me on that, but I did read that on Twitter. And if it's on Twitter, it must be true. And I have to think that the Miami Dolphins, when it comes down to it, when you bring in a guy like they did this morning from San Francisco, who has more of an upside and is a project guy. Same thing with the guy from Dallas, with Cedric Wilson. These kids have a lot of potential. Now, my hope is, and this is part of the reason that the fan base was so excited for McDaniel, they become a Deebo Samuel. So I got to be optimistic in where they're going. And I will tell you this, as much crap as I give this team from a standpoint of, are we doing the same thing all over again? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. I don't ever remember us putting this much emphasis on a run game in an offseason. Hell, even when we went out and got Ricky, we just got Ricky, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying these guys are Ricky. But Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds, the fullback, like, come on now. Like, that's somebody who's game planning to hand the ball off and not put it into his hands as much. And that's okay, too. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a coach who's saying, you know what? I'm going to make sure that all the weight of this offense is not put on the quarterback. But in my humble opinion, if you don't shore up the offensive line, all these moves are for nothing. So it makes perfect sense to me that, they have to go out and get Terron Armstead or La'el Collins or J.C. Trotter. That has to be their number one priorities. And if you get 1, 2 of those three people, and there's a few other offensive linemen that I'm okay with too, depending on the price you get them at and what you have to give up to get it, whether it's a roster cut, draft picks, whatever the case may be. I just want and here's the thing. You know how I said, look, if the Dolphins decided to go out and I'm saying this is me a few weeks ago. If the Dolphins decided to go out and get Deshaun Watson, I'm going to support them because they're going all in on that. Well, what I do see right now is this team going all in on the run game. As long as they bring in at least one more big offensive lineman. And who knows what they're going to do at draft time. You have a first, second, third, 2 fourths. You got draft picks in the future. So a lot of stuff the Dolphins can do here. There's a lot of stuff the Dolphins can do here. They are set in a prime position to make a difference with this offense. Chef Shu says, I agree, Stephen D. I was saying this morning. Got to give that some support for Tua. Can just manage the games and not make mistakes that will cost us important games. I agree. And let me tell you, if you can hand the ball off 30 plus times a game, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. I'm excited. Like, do you guys remember? Like, so I was thinking, I'm like, man, we haven't had a true fullback on our team for a couple of years now. And the last true one that I can remember was Lusaka Polite. And if anybody knows, if you're a real Dolphins fan and you remember Lusaka Polite, that man was Mr. Third Down conversion himself on 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2. If it was 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2 for the 3 years that Lusaka was here, that was almost a guaranteed first down. Because you were just handing it off to Lusaka and he was in there. How we didn't use him more always frustrated the hell out of me, especially when we got to goal line stances. Clutch Line said, this is a passing league. Teams will shut down the run. You know, I think if you bring up a good point, right? Jaworski Lane was no Lusaka Polite. I'll tell you that. Bonjo says, Steven, good morning. You know, I told you before the offseason I have a take that they're taking the ball out of Tua's hands. They are not building around him. They're building from building from him. Yeah, I mean, look, these moves definitely support that theory. And here's the best part about it. If you bring in a successful run game where you're handing the ball off 30 times a game, 35 times a game, right? Your average offense is getting 65 to 75 plays, right? A game. If you think I'm wrong about that, let me know. A good offense is getting 65 to 75 offensive plays a game. Some even 80. Okay? So if half of those plays, if 50% of those plays, you have a well-balanced offense, that's what we need. Because then what happens is you don't need a 300-yard passing game from Tua. You don't. You just need Tua to be smart with his decisions and smart with the ball. You also need your defense to keep the opposing team's offense out of the end zone. So that means 20 points or less a game. I truly believe, I recently, this past season, went in and looked. And I said teams that score on average 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals have a legit chance at winning the football game. So whether it's 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals, you have a legit shot to win the game. Anything at 20 points and above you got a legit shot. And if you're getting 24 more points a game or more, you're really giving yourself a chance to win a football game. And obviously, as those points per game go up, so does your opportunity to win go up as well. So to go to that person's comment, hey, this is a passing league. Who said that? I want to make sure Clutch line. Teams will shut down the run. Here's what I do know. There are some really good defenses out there. Mike Krzyzewski, I don't know if I'm saying your name. I want to say Krzyzewski. Says you score 20 against Buffalo, you'll lose by 17. Let's get something straight. I'm not here to compete with the elite teams at this moment. I want to win a playoff game. That's my goal right now. Do I want a Super Bowl? Of course I do. But I need to be realistic here and give my heart an opportunity to be like, oh, we're okay. It's not like we're not. You got to remember, we haven't competed with Buffalo in 2 to 3 years, 4 years. We're not just going to wake up and compete with Buffalo. That's not going to happen. But what we can do is start getting our team to that level. And that's building a foundation. And if that means our quarterback or our offense is scoring 2 to 3 touchdowns a game and our field goal kickers kicking 2 to 3 field goals a game, we are in it because as long as our defense does what we know it can do, we know our defense when they are where they're supposed to be at and playing at the level that they can be really, really good. They can be top 10. They have the players to be a top 10 defense. 100%. Mike says, Steven, where do you rate the Dolphins in the AFC? Right now, at the bottom, I would say 13th, 14th. Their win-loss puts them at like 9 or 10. But we saw them lose games against teams that were worse than them last year, a.k.a. Jacksonville, a.k.a. Atlanta. So just making playoffs don't cut it for me. It's just winning at least one playoff game. Look, you know what, Joe? I'll agree with you. I want to win a playoff game. But, bro, we've only made the playoffs 3 times in 20-plus years. Getting to the playoffs is a win. Winning a playoff game sets expectations for this team. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Miami Dolphins, okay, not just the Miami Dolphins, the NFL, wild card weekend, okay, wild card weekend, that wild card weekend round of games were horrible. And there was a big difference from the teams that were wild card teams to the teams that won their division. I mean, we're talking night and day difference. So you have to realize the teams that just make the playoffs, they're great. Or they're good. They're good. They're not great. We haven't been good. We're mediocre. We are the definition of mediocrity. Flipside Fishing says, Stephen D, stop it, bro. You're lowering our standards. Screw just winning a game. I want to be a force in the playoffs. That's fine to say that. But I will say this flip side, for us as fans to think that our expectations are mediocrity for the last 15, 20 years, and all of a sudden we're going to wake up and be a contender to win playoff games, not going to happen, bro. Teams have done it. Don't get it twisted. And we have all hope just as any other team does. But I want to be realistic in my expectations. Build a foundation. Show me why we're going to be a good football team. You're going to establish a run game and run the ball 35 times a game? Okay. Show me that offensive line can hold. Show me that we don't have to go out and put up 27 points a game to win. You have to understand the Miami Dolphins are laying a foundation with McDaniel. McDaniel is laying a foundation. He is giving us a new identity. When you go out and get Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds and a fullback, you're telling me as a fan, hey, guy, we're going to run the heck out of this football this year. Okay, that's all well and good, but I'm telling you right now, our offensive line sucks as it's currently constructed. Connor Williams is a big upgrade, but you need to go out and get another player or two, my guy. And you need to show me that your new offensive line coach, Matt Applebaum, who, by the way, I actually love, can develop some of the talent that we currently have here. Let's get something straight. Tua's our quarterback. He's not going anywhere. Aldo with the $10 donation. Thank you, Aldo. I appreciate it. When you are forced to commit to stopping the run, it opens up passing lanes. And when you have no running game, it makes it twice as hard to pass the ball. See, in this particular situation, Aldo, McDaniel's not forcing the run. You are forced to run when you have no passing game to begin with, right? And I'm not, and I get your point here. But he's designing a game plan, instituting the run game. And I think there's a big difference there. Before what was it last year? Not Philip Lindsay, Duke Johnson. Correct me if I'm wrong, people, and maybe I am. Duke Johnson was the first 100-game rusher we had in like a year and a half when it happened. And if I'm wrong, there hasn't been too many 100-yard game rushers for the Miami Dolphins over the last few years. So you're bringing in guys that are going to be instrumental in a game plan that you're designing, McDaniel. Fair. Fine. Since Kenyon Drake, Trey said. Yes. Guys, this is the reality of where we're at. It's not, I personally don't believe that it's me lowering expectations. I think it's me setting expectations. Get to the playoffs. Just show me you can get to the playoffs. You show me you can get to the playoffs, the next year I'll be like, all right, you got there last year. Let's win a playoff game this year. And if you win a playoff game this year, great. So be it. And the other thing you have to realize is we are not competing for an AFC East spot just yet. We're not competing for the division. Buffalo's got that as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not being negative. I'm just being realistic. But we are more than capable of getting a wild card slot. And I am okay with that. And until they could show me that they can compete with the Buffalo Bills, it is what it is. And I see people in the comments saying I'm lowering expectations. it's all well and good to say we're going to be a playoff Super Bowl winning team. I want that to be the case just as much as you all do. But this team has to show me that they're capable of doing that. They have to show me that. That's only fair, in my opinion. That's only fair. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers. I'm your host, Stephen D. You guys can follow me on social media at Stephen D, SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button. Tap it. It helps. Make sure you share this link. Let people know on Twitter and Facebook. Tag me in the Twitter post. Matter of fact, why don't you go on Twitter right now? Tag me that you shared this link. Go do it right now. Let people know that we're here this morning. If you guys want to donate to the channel, you guys can use the YouTube Live Super Chat down at the bottom of the right. You guys can also use Cash App and PayPal, MSM Podcast Network. Look, here's a reality of what the Dolphins are doing right now. So when I saw that they didn't go after Matt, when they didn't re-sign Matt Collins and Matt Collins left, it made me question something else too. And bear with me now. I'm not being a conspiracy. I'm just merely stating a question. If a running game is so important to you, what is important to a run game, you all? I'm asking you. And I'm going to tell you what the answer is: blocking. In order to have a successful run game, you have to have blocking. So if that's the case, explain to me why Gesicki was re-signed. Here's my theories on it. Gesicki's a playmaker. No argument from me here. And in order to get another playmaker on this roster at the wide receiver or wide receiver position, they would have to give up, whether it's a big contract or something that has to do within a playoff, right? In a trade, in a trade. So I say that because having somebody like Gesicki on this roster, I will tell you, he's going to play the wide receiver position, not the tight end position again, as we've seen it for the last however many years with him. So that means Hunter Long, Durham Smythe, maybe even Cethan Carter, if he doesn't get released. These guys at tight end, you are going to see it. What you saw in San Francisco was a lot of 2 tight end sets too. But you saw the tight end blocking. That included, say that 5 times fast, George Kittle. So, it is something that he does not do. Christopher, appreciate you going on Twitter and retweeting it, man. Thank you. I just want the opportunity to show this team what they're capable of. To you, the fans. I don't have a problem if your primary objective is run game. I don't have a problem if you want to throw the ball 50 to 60 times a game, the way Vegas, or the Chargers do. But you have to set up your team for that. And the way I'm currently seeing this team constructed, for the most part, I'm seeing it as this is going to be a run-first team, which is fine. But I'm also seeing a couple of contradictory moves. Signing a tender to Gesicki when you're going to be a run-first team? I don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad move. I'm just saying, if you wanted to be somebody who's going to sling the ball, I could see more of why you would want to keep a Mike Gesicki. But that's not going to be the case. I still see on average from Tua us throwing the ball 20 to 25 times a game. There's not going to be a lot of, hey, we're going to get into the fourth quarter and just sling it with these guys, which again tells me why we are not ready to compete with the top tier teams in the AFC. Because I will agree with you, in order to beat Cincinnati, in order to beat the Chargers, in order to beat the Raiders, and I'm bringing up a lot of West Coast teams, but in order to beat these elite or top tier, not elite, these top tier AFC teams, I think you do have to throw the ball. We are a passing league. But we had a crazy year where the Wildcat was crazy, right? And we won. We lost in the playoffs when Baltimore knew exactly how to beat us and stop it. Trey says, Steven, you still need weapons. Just because you're running the ball doesn't mean you're not passing the ball. I get that. But I don't see us throwing the ball 40, 50, 60 times a game. 20 to 25 is more likely what we'll see from Tua. At the most 30. Right? And then at that point, you have to say, okay, well, if that means we're throwing the ball 21 times a game, that's a fourth, maybe even a fifth of the time the offense is on the field. We'll say a fourth. So the other 3/4 of the time, you're running the ball. And you're doing trick plays. We've seen Cedric Wilson, the Dallas Cowboy, throw a bomb in Dallas. We know he can throw the ball. So trick plays are going to be in there. You tell a lot of the YouTubers all the time, guys, you guys have to have faith. I have faith in what McDaniel's trying to institute because I have seen it worked in the NFL before. But with the current personnel that's here, I question it because I haven't seen them do it, which is a fair assessment. Where I think we are right now, if you want me to be perfectly honest with you, is an 8 to 10 win team. But we bring in another big-time offensive lineman, and we draft a couple of people in the draft, and we coach them up. We could easily make those maybe 2 to 4 games that are close that we would lose into wins. And so now we go from being an 8 and 10 win team to being a 10 to 13 win team. And 11, 12, 13 games, they get you into the playoffs. They give you an opportunity to get into the playoffs. I want us to be a good football team. There are some of you in the chat that are like, nah, we're not a good football team. That's fair. I don't think we are at this moment either. But I think we have the capability to be. I think we have to be. I think our capability could be that. And that's all we need. We just need to make these moves work. And that's on McDaniel. That's why I have said, look, if this doesn't work, McDaniel could be gone after 1 year. And then y'all are going to get mad at me. You're already getting the guy out the door. You hadn't even coached the game yet. You're right. I'm just telling you where it's at as a franchise, as a team. McDaniel is not going to get that rope of a 3-year window. He's not going to. He's not going to. And I see some of y'all in here saying 6 games, 6 to 9 wins. If we do 6 to 9 wins, I wouldn't be surprised if we did an entire overhaul next year. Everybody, top to bottom. Gone. Which is all the more reason why I need fans to understand this. I'm not going to bring this up as, hey, we should just listen to what I'm about to say and listen closely. Some of you in here in the chats are saying 4 to 6 win team is what we're at. Okay? If that were to be the case, in my opinion, you will then see, thank you, Miss Vince, for retweeting. You will then see, I think everybody will get a complete overhaul up and down. But then you will go ahead and see the Miami Dolphins get killed for not going after Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. Because you had an opportunity to. And it's going, and it has I'm going to call it what it is. It can set our franchise back 5 years, 10 years. We saw what the Drew Brees thing was. We saw what picking Dante Culpepper over Drew Brees, what type of effect that had on this franchise. We've seen it. You get a really good quarterback in, you're in a playoff hunt every single year. Kansas City wasn't great. They were mediocre. They brought in Alex Smith. They realized we're never going to truly compete with him. But you get Patrick Mahomes, and look where they're at. Seattle Seahawks had multiple different quarterbacks. They could never do it. They draft Russell Wilson. Look at what they did for the last, 8 to 10 years. And Denver's a prime example. Denver can't get a quarterback right to save their life. But they'll trade the hell out of all their capital to go out and get a Super Bowl ring. Did it with Peyton. They're going to try to do it. Hey, it worked with Peyton. Why not do it with Russell? So I love our fans. I love our team. I want to be positive and rays of sunshine, and the Dolphins are going to be great, and they're going to go ahead and make the playoffs and win a playoff game. And I want my expectations to be that we are a contender, not just make the playoffs. Folks, just make the playoffs is a successful season. Get that in your heads now. Make sure that we just make the playoffs. We make the playoffs, I will be over the moon. And I would have no problem saying, all right, McDaniel, let's see what else you can do. And let me tell you, Ken, I'll show you the hat. I'm wearing green today because of whatchamacallit, St. Patrick's Day. I have a lot of minor league baseball team hats, and so this is the Greenville Drive. They're a minor league affiliate of the Boston Red Sox. Triple S says, I think this needs to be said. If the goal is a Super Bowl, Tua is not it. Point blank, period. If the goal is to be decent and feeling okay about our team and making the playoffs eventually, then fine. Triple S, so let's just, number one, there's nothing, I appreciate the donation. Let's get that right off the bat. But for real, there's nothing wrong with your statement. And I know some people will kill you. Oh, you're not being pro Tua. You're being anti Tua. Whatever the case is. And Pamela, I'm going to get to your comment too in a second. Okay. But you have to understand that this team is in the position that it's in. Tua's the guy. Good, bad, or indifferent, love it or hate it, Tua's going to be our starting quarterback this year. So because we're Miami Dolphin fans, all right, what gives us the best chance to win with Tua as our starting quarterback? Okay, not allowing him to put the entire game in his hands gives us a better opportunity to win. I agree with that. So I have no problem bringing in this running game. Right? No problem with it. To Pamela's point, Stephen, we have made huge strides already, and it's because of coaching. Yes, Pamela. But to also further to Triple S's comment, as well as yours here, I also want to say this. The Miami Dolphins, okay, they have made huge strides with the past coaching regime. Let me ask you something, Pamela. Did we make running up the run game a priority last year? We didn't. We had a capable running back on our roster for the last half of the season and didn't use him properly. He had 2 100-yard games. You're right, we made strides. But now this new coaching regime and this new coaching staff is coming in and doing an entirely different game plan. And that is, let's take the run game for what it is and what it's going to be. No problem. Fine. But you have to understand the strides that we made, they don't matter anymore. Especially with the new personnel that we're bringing in. Shout out to Ken Rosa. Welcome to the family. Signing up to become a member of the family. What's up, Ken? How are you, Ken? Super excited that you're a member of the family, man. Welcome. Steven, how are you an Orioles fan, but yet wear a Red Sox minor league cap? I support all minor league, man. I love minor league baseball. I will go see, I don't care who it is. It could be a collegiate minor league baseball team, independent baseball team. Love minor league baseball. First year professional coach who thinks a high school offense complete with a fullback is going to make noise. 3 yards, a cloud of dust, ain't beating Buffalo. I'm not denying that, which is why I said no less than 15, 20 minutes ago, we are not competing for the division this year. And that's fine. We don't have to. We need to make the playoffs in wild card fashion, which is fine. It's what the reality of our team is right now. You know what? We did have some success with the run game and then abandoned it, and it made us one-dimensional and ridiculous. It did. I'll give you a prime example of how this past coaching staff or not putting an emphasis on it made a difference. We missed the playoffs by 1 game, right? And I know there's a million other games we can go back to, but let's just go back to that last 8, 9 games. Let's go to Tennessee. Tennessee at halftime. Scores close. We're not having a great game on offense. But at halftime, our running back, who had a 100-yard game the week or the week before prior, has 7 carries for 49 yards. Something to be said there. We didn't run the ball again to him till the fourth quarter. Granted, we had one possession, 1.5 possessions in that third quarter. But the fact of the matter is we didn't do it. We didn't do it. We should have made Duke Johnson in that Tennessee game, in that second half, a priority. Made the first priority. And they didn't. And that's another thing, Pam, too. The play calling last season was ridiculous. Anytime we were successful with anything, we stopped doing it and became one-dimensional. Not wrong. Also, Tua, first 3 years, 2 years of the NFL, right? Is it 2? This is his third year, okay? Third year. He has had 4 offensive coordinators in 3 years. And if you want to go back to his days at Alabama, I think he had 2 or 3 offensive coordinators there. So when you don't have any consistency with the person that is supposed to be calling your games, how are you ever going to know exactly what works for you and what doesn't? You know who else had a problem with this as well? Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill had no consistency in who was calling his games for the first 7 years he was here. Multiple different offensive coordinators, multiple different games plans. We want to give Tua a chance. That's fine, but we're not. We keep changing the game. And to your point a little bit ago, I said, look, don't be surprised if McDaniel gets 1 year out of this, right? Don't be surprised if that happens. But he's not going to because of where this team is at and what they should have already accomplished by now. Where they should be as a franchise and as a team. That's not on McDaniel, but he's the one that's going to get burned for it. It's raining bad today, Steven. No work for me. 5-hour show. Y'all are funny, man. I got a lot of stuff to do. Y'all are hilarious. We're not even close to the end of the show yet. But you are funny. Shout out to Lance McDonald with the $20 donation. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, dude. That's a big deal. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock blockers, flip-floppers, whatever you want to call me. We're having a really good time here. I want to be able to have you all come on and talk about, how you think what I've said so far this morning works, how it doesn't work. So we're going to do a Dolphin panel. It's actually going to be a semi-Dolphin panel. I'm going to bring in 1 to 2 people to talk with me, and we're going to go back and forth. I'm going to rotate you all out. We're trying some new things here because, that's what we're doing. And I want to see what works and what doesn't. Hey, this is the off season. This is time, for things to work and see what doesn't work. But what we're going to do is what we did yesterday. We're going to play musical chairs. I'm creating a new link for the show today. And because I want to break this down into segments. So we just did the first segment, which was the intro and my spiel. Second segment is going to be Dolphin panel Q&A. Okay. So I'm going to send you guys the link now in the chat. I want you guys to go over to this new link to this new video. Pete says, we like open panels and chaos. Well, I get that. Here's the link for the new thing. Oh, wait. That's not the right one. That's not it. That's not it. What I just sent was not it. Ugh. There we go. Take that off. Okay. I'm going to send you the YouTube link. Here we go. YouTube link. And here is the new YouTube link. Okay. Let me put that in here. Share. Here's the YouTube link. Only Finn's link by mistake? No. Suedo, you're too funny, though. I love it. All right, there it is. That is the YouTube link. Go over there right now. Hit the like button. I'll be over there in 1 minute. I just want to make sure everybody gets off here good. And then we'll do a Dolphin Q&A panel session. You guys can ask me anything. Make sure you guys go hit that like button. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm sending you all over there now. Go over to the new link. It's still YouTube, just a new video. Okay? So go over there now. Let me see those numbers go down. Let's go. It was Pornhub, Steven. No, it wasn't. You guys are funny, man. I love it. I love it. You guys are great. Okay. Right now, go over there. I put it in the link again for you guys, the new YouTube link. Go over there. I'll see you over there. Love you all. If y'all like this video, share it. Let people know that where we're going. And we'll see you over here in the second segment. Let's go. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami Fan Morning Show. We're going to keep it rolling over on the next video. Let's go. Next stream, whatever you want to call it.